Hi friends, I am Nutella with Mom's Dish. Today we're making chocolate chip sourdough cookies. Did you know that you can make chocolate chip cookies with sourdough? You can use a discard or fresh sourdough starter. It's incredible, makes them so delicious. They say sourdough is good for you, so I basically call this recipe healthy. So let's make it. For this recipe, you will need 2 sticks of butter, which is just basically 1 cup of unsalted butter, and we are gonna brown it. So I'm gonna place this butter in here and we're gonna let this almost like simmer up, and we're gonna continue stirring it together until it's perfectly like brown. Once you start seeing those brown bits, that's when you set it aside. So it's moving along quick. Not good. So when you see the butter sizzling like this, you just want to continue mixing it to prevent the bottom from burning. You will start to see a little bit of burns, but as the bubbles come up like this, you will see it turn a little more and more brown. Some more. Okay, this is the point when it starts to turn brown like this. You can stop cooking it because we don't want too much browning. And you can almost smell like a caramel flavor from the butter. So we're gonna set this aside and want this to completely to cool because we're gonna combine it with eggs, and we don't want the eggs to basically cook in butter. So allow this to cool down. We're gonna go to the next steps. We're combining all the dry ingredients together. So you need some flour. I have all-purpose flour, 2 cups and 3/4, baking powder, 1 teaspoon and 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, and also a pinch of salt. So we're just gonna toss it all together and mix it up. For this process, I typically just use a fork. It makes my life easy. Just like this, fluff it up, mix it in, and we're gonna set this aside. Now we're just gonna dump everything together. If you have a stand mixer, you can use that, but I am just using a bowl here. So I have some brown sugar. This is just a cup, just dumping that in. 2/3 cup of, I'm thinking about it too much. 2/3 cup of granulated sugar. And then we have 2 egg yolks, just the yolks, not the whole egg. Dumping that in, and our browned butter. Pour that in. I'm adding 2/3 cup of sourdough discard, or just a regular fresh starter, whatever you have on hand. And I'm just gonna blend all of this together. Why is this not working for me? It's not plugged in. And just combine it until it's nice and lightly fluffy and everything comes together. If you are using stand mixer, you can just continue with the steps. I am just gonna fold in the flour or like the dry ingredients mixture. Just fold in a little bit at a time until it comes together. But you guys, it already smells so good. I can smell the combination of sourdough starter and brown butter. It smells like a caramel explosion here. So good. Oops, don't do that. Just gonna fold this in, and I'm gonna add a little bit more and continue mixing it in. Okay, we're gonna dump in the rest of the flour. Typically I do this in the KitchenAid, but I really want you guys to see the textures of the dough, how it all comes together. I need to get one of those glass bowl KitchenAid mixers for the purpose of this videos. So that's on my list. Okay, this is the texture of the dough. It's almost like sugar cookie dough. It doesn't stick to your hands. It's like perfect time to mix in all your mix-ins. Obviously, we're mixing in chocolate chips, but if you want to do walnuts, pecans, whatever you want to do, you can mix that in and just make it that way. I am doing about 1.5 cups of chocolate chips. We also have some in our freezer because Tim is obsessed with walnuts. I do a mixture of chocolate chips and walnuts together. So just splitting that in the middle, so like 1.5 cups, so do like half, or what is that math? 2/3 of a cup of each, basically. I think that's pretty right? Just dumping that in and just combine it together. You know what? I'm gonna go with my hand here. It's just gonna make my life easier. Just mixing this all in until all the chocolate chips are all evenly distributed. But it truly does smell like caramel. It's such a good smell. I'm loving it. And by the way, if you guys didn't know, we have a sourdough bread recipe on our channel as well, so you can go see that. We'll link to it down below, that way you can go see it too. I am gonna cover this with plastic wrap and let this chill for about 15 to 20 minutes. It really depends on your like butter, how long you have been letting it chill. If your butter was still like on the warm side, the dough sometimes can be a little more runny, so you need a little bit more time for it to chill. Mine looks pretty good, so I'm gonna allow it to sit for about 15 minutes and then we're gonna bake them. To bake the cookies, I'm just using a like basic baking sheet, and I like to line it with parchment paper. I actually get these pre-cut pieces on Amazon, makes my life so much easier. I'm gonna place them in here, and I probably do about 6 cookies, that way there's space in between each one. Just shaping them into my preferred size. I think this is about 1.5 tablespoons. I'm not even sure, like a handful. And I'm gonna shape them and place them on a baking sheet, but leaving some space in between each one because they do spread as they bake. Also, if you want to leave some for later, because this is a pretty big batch, unless you're sharing, I mean, I'm not gonna judge if you eat all of them, but I would be surprised if you do. You can do the same thing, freeze them on a baking sheet, and then just leave it in a freezer. And let me show you how we store them. Once they're frozen, I literally store them like this in a Ziploc bag, and you can date it. I'm not dating it because I know we're gonna eat it quick enough. This one is the one that has actually walnuts, so they have a little bit more texture. You can see walnuts in it and chocolate chips. I'm actually gonna pop some of these in the oven as well, together with this one. But the baking time will be a little bit longer for them because they are frozen. So typically I bake them for about 12 minutes. Depending on size, you will bake for different times and periods. You just wanna see when they start like spreading out, they have a little bit of golden brown edges. That's when you wanna pull them out. They may look like they're not fully baked, but that's totally fine because they set, they're like perfectly soft and just amazing when they're slightly underbaked. This is a cool little trick. If you want some like pretty tops with a lot of chocolate chips, you're gonna place, like really crowd them with some extra chocolate chips on top, because as they bake and they spread, these chocolate chips on top, they actually spread out and they look really pretty. So that's typically what we always do. Okay, they're ready to go in the oven. I'm gonna bake them at 350 for about 12 minutes, like I said earlier. The frozen one, I'll give it like 2 extra minutes, really depending on how quickly they cook. I'll just watch them at 12-minute mark and just pull them out. Here are the cookies. They look a little fluffy when they come out. Here's a little trick. This is what I like to do, and this might be loud, but this is worth it. So you tap them on a countertop, or I usually just do on a cutting board, not a countertop. And it creates like these layers in the cookie. I love that. So I'm gonna pound them like this and let them cool. They do still look very soft, but after a few minutes, they harden a little bit and they're like perfect. So you do want them to cool a little bit. If you're impatient like me, you can move them to a cooling rack. It speeds up the cooling process. That way the air travels all around. The chocolate is all melty. I cannot wait to dig in. The cookies are fully cooled and they're so delicious. The chocolate is still melty, so amazing, soft, melted chocolate. The cookie is insanely yummy. I'm gonna taste this. Look at that. Oh, all that chocolate on the inside. Yum. The flavor is epic. You gotta try this one.